So in this session, we'll be discussing about the next application of GPS, that is a precision approach aircraft landing system. How the GPS is useful in aircraft landing system. So we have two approaches, precision approach and non-precision approach. Here the precision approach is what it provides the guidance for the horizontal as well as the vertical guidance from the ground-based navigation aid or computer-based navigation, which will be displayed at the pilot of the aircraft, and next based on the radar. So here in the precision approach, it will provide a direct path without any deviation, whereas in non-precision approach, it will mislead the route. So we'll be discussing about precision approach aircraft landing system. So as we all know that in the modern aircraft system, we are having multiple GPS receivers. These multiple GPS receivers will provide real-time aircraft position and map of each flight's progress to the pilots as well as sometimes to the passengers also. This GPS will provide the map of each flight's progress. And this GPS also allows airline operators to select safest, fastest, and most fuel efficient routes to each destination and ensure that each route is followed as closely as possible when the flight is underway. So, by using this GPS receiver, here it will allow the airline operators to choose the safest, fastest, and fuel efficient routes to each destination. Not only selecting, it will also make sure that route is followed as closely as possible when the flight is underway. So this aircraft navigation system provides guidance for en route through precision approach phases of flight. So by using this aircraft navigation system, it provides the guidance for precision approach phases of the flight. Phases of flight include right from the arrival to the departure, en route, etc. Next, incorporation of a data link with a GPS receiver enables the transmission of aircraft location to other aircraft and or to air traffic control. So by using a data link with the GPS receiver, it will transmit the one aircraft location to the other aircraft and also to the air traffic control. So the benefits of transmitting this data to the air traffic control is it will avoid the collision, and it will also provide optimized routing to reduce travel time and fuel consumption. So by transmitting the data of one aircraft location to the other aircraft location, it will monitor whether there is any collision, whether any aircraft, both the aircrafts are following the same route. It will check that, and it will also provide optimized routing in order to reduce the travel time and fuel consumption. Next, the continuous global coverage capability of GPS permits aircraft to fly directly from one location to the another. So this GPS capability is to permit the aircraft to fly directly from one location to the another location. It will permit the aircraft to fly directly from one location to the another, and provided factors such as obstacle clearance and required procedures are adhered to. So this function is called automatic dependent surveillance ADS, and it is used in various classes of the airspace. We are using it in various classes of the airspace. For example, in oceanic airspace, ADS is implemented using a point-to-point link from aircraft to oceanic ATC via satellite communication or high frequency data link. So this ADS is used in various classes of airspace. For example, in oceanic airspace, we use point-to-point link from aircraft to oceanic ATC. So this is done by using a high-frequency data link or satellite communication. ADS techniques are also being applied to airport surface surveillance of both aircraft and ground support vehicles. So they also provide this data to the airport surface surveillance of both aircraft and ground support vehicles. We also have ADS-B, which is called as the Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast. So here it provides a digital data link that will broadcast an aircraft position, airspeed, heading, altitude, and other information to multiple receivers on the ground as well as to other aircraft. So ADSB is digital data link which will transmit the data regarding aircraft position, airspeed, etc. to the multiple receivers on the ground as well as to the other aircrafts. So this is called as a point to multi-point link. This ADSB is called as a point to multi-point link. Next. Thus, other aircraft equipped with ADSB as well as ground controllers obtain a picture of the area air traffic situation. So when this ADSB data is transmitted to the ground stations as well as the aircrafts, so it will be providing the data in the form of a picture format. Next, at the time of this writing, US Federal Aviation Administration had implemented ADSB and related data link technologies in a collaborative government industry program called Safe Flight 21. So FAA has implemented ADSB along with the data link program called Safe Flight 21. So the Safe Flight 21 initiative focuses on developing required avionics, pilot procedures, and a compatible ground-based ADS system for air traffic control facilities. So it will provide the required navigation avionics, pilot procedures, and compatible ground-based ADS system for air traffic control facilities. Next. SafeFlight 21 demonstration projects are in process in several areas within the United States, including Alaska and the Ohio River Valley. So these SafeFlight 21 demonstration projects are in progress within the US, including Alaska and the Ohio River Valley. Next. In 2003, the FAA declared FAA, declared WAS, Wide Area Augmentation System. FAA is Federal Aviation Administration, which we have discussed both in the previous unit. So in 2003, the Federal Aviation Administration declared WAS, Wide Area Augmentation System, operational for instrument flight operations. As we all know that how WAS is used in aircraft landing system, which we have discussed it in the previous unit. The WAS broadcast on the GPS L1 frequency so that signals are accessible to the GPS receivers without the need for a dedicated DGPS corrections communication link. So here the WAS will transmit the signals on GPS L1 frequency. Here we don't require any DGPS. Why we use DGPS? To make the corrections to the errors in the GPS signals. So we don't require any DGPS corrections communications link because WAS broadcast on the GPS L1 frequency. The performance of the system is sufficient for non-precision approach and new types of vertically guided approaches that are only slightly less stringent than category 1 precision approach. So this was augmented GPS system is sufficient for non-precision approaches and other new types of vertically guided approaches that are only slightly less than category 1 precision approach. We also have other SBAS systems like IGNOS, Multifunctional Transport Satellite MidSat, Satellite Augmentation System MSAS, and GPS and Geo Augmented Navigation Gagan are being fielded or considered to provide services equivalent to WAS in other regions of the world. DGPS is necessary to provide the performance required for vertically guided approaches. So as we all know that for non-precision approaches and for the here precision approach will provide the vertical guidance. So for that, other than WAS, we also have several satellite-based augmentation systems like IGNOS, MTSAT, MSAS, Gagan are used. DGPS is necessary to provide the performances required for vertically guided approaches. So precision approach mainly provide vertically guidance, whereas non-precision approach provides the horizontal guidance. So here in precision approach, it will provide a direct path, whereas in non-precision approach, it will deviate the route. Thank you.